Good morning, everyone. Thanks again for this invitation. I'm really happy to be here sharing with you some of my recent researches. I will share my screen. Okay. I will start, we'll begin this reflection, of course, remarking that in this current pandemic, every one of us experienced a different perception of the sonic environment. And this is actually clear. Many newspaper, televisions reported this as an exceptional moment. And this graphic, for example, shows really clearly how the average sound level decreased enormously from one year to the other, and there are many newspaper underline this as something really exceptional. Of course, this impacted the citizens' everyday life, and I think that this also made them realize more than ever that how sound was a significant part of the sense of place of a city or a neighborhood or a street, and it was part of their, of course, their everyday life. But it was also really important because it marked the politics of the coexistence between bodies, between human and non-human beings. In my short keynote, I will first introduce the notion of urban atmosphere, because I believe this is a really interesting and important notion which can help us understanding the current situation. And by doing that, I will then explore the definitions of affective atmosphere and affective tonalities. These for me are really related to the notion of atmosphere, and they can actually link together our perception of everyday life with the role of sound. What's the role played by sound in this in all these? So in the end, I will try to outline how sounds and the sonic environment is and can be actually engineered or somehow designed in order to enact some affective capabilities. So the starting point, of course, is my personal experience of the pandemic period. I live in Venice, and for me it was clear how Venice was changing, because the sonic environment, as you can imagine, was completely different from the usual life, and for example, tourists. The absence of tourists was unbelievably changing the image of the city. I was reflecting during that time about what is uncomfortable to me during my walks, my sound walks as well. And actually, I was realizing that there were no uncomfortable elements in the sonic environment, but what was uncomfortable for me was their disappearance. So this was somehow an aspect that reminded me how the rhythm of the city was changing, and during this moment, I connected with many references that I would like to share with you through different quotes. So this keynote is structured with many quotes from different theorists and scholars, which can help us understand the key concept I'm trying to outline today. So I would like to start with Lefebvre, because I think that his study of rhythms in urban everyday life, it's really important. First, because for him, rhythm can express the complexity of present societies, but also because and that's really, really important to me, because rhythm appears as regulated time governed by rational laws, but in contact with what it least rational in a human being, the lived, the carnal, the body. So I think I want to point out, especially the last sentence, and especially the body, how the body is involved in this understanding of rhythms. And again, body is central to the notion of urban atmosphere, which from the 90s became one of the central topic in academic debate. First within philosophy of perception, and then later on within urban studies. I will concentrate on the urban studies, especially the contribution from geography, sociology, planning, and psychology, and I selected many contributions that can help in this reflection. So first of all, atmosphere has many different ways of was described in many different ways, but we can try to make a synthesis out of it and say that atmosphere is a set of distinctive characters of a place which are emerging from the relationship between human and matter. So in this, we have to acknowledge how every element of this assemblage is somehow creating an influence from one body to the other. And of course, the notion of atmosphere has a long history. I reported a quote from Gandhi, who is a geographer, who tried to analyze the different historical definitions of urban atmosphere. And he says that an atmosphere can be evoked as a kind of complex yet ever-changing totality that is rooted in material forces yet connected with different forms of consciousness and experience. So again, the body is central to this notion. Other theories try to refer to atmosphere as a connective factor, especially this in-betweenness between the subject and the object of emotional and sensory experience, and of course. Atmosphere, for example, is a connective factor linking people, places, and things together in often unpredictable ways. The last quote is the most important one from these three researchers I selected for you today. So atmosphere do not merely exist as simultaneity of human beings and material culture, but also as a temporal dimension. Atmosphere changes. Atmosphere are susceptible to how the material environment changes, to changing human values and cultural premises. So there's really many ways to approach urban atmosphere, but what I want to do is also trying to link later on atmosphere to, of course, the sonic contribution to urban atmosphere. Before doing that, I need to stress other key concepts such as ambience, for example, which is linked, of course, to the notion of atmosphere. The urban sociologist Jean-Paul Thibault expressed this definition, trying to connect together the ambience as a more situated and built on the social dimension and sensory experience of everyday experience, and at the same time, atmosphere is more affective, aerial, and political oriented. We will focus on the notion of affect in the second part of the presentation, but here is still clear that atmosphere is deeply related to the notion of affect. So we can enter into the concept of urban atmosphere by the contribution of a philosopher who devoted his most of his career to atmosphere. He's Jerome Bohm, and he was one of the first referring to atmosphere, especially in relation to how a city expresses itself through a special character. For example, here, by the atmosphere of a city, we understand something characteristic that is something peculiar to the city, what makes it individual and therefore cannot be communicated in general concepts. That does not, however, mean that we cannot talk about the atmosphere of a city. We shall see that is indeed possible. Rather, what it means that the atmosphere is something but has to be sensed in order to understand what is really at stake when we talk about atmosphere. The atmosphere of a city is precisely the way life unfolds within the city. So this the centrality of the body is still there, and also the special character that we are always feeling without really being able to express themselves clearly. That's really what I'm trying to underline today. And again, urban atmosphere was key concept for other philosophers and phenomenologists who try to remark how atmosphere also underlines the social moods, the qualitative and sentimental elements, and of the spatial experience of the everyday life, the encounter with the world, in fact. So we can now move to the acoustic atmosphere. So to the contribution of sound to atmosphere. Of course, this atmospheric aura I'm trying to outline is made by different elements, of course, but at the same time is enacted by different actions, and also in this field the sonic contribution is of course central. Again, Jerome Bohm defined how the urban atmosphere is structured, and he said, of course, the question of what constitutes human environment becomes a question of inquiring after the character of acoustic atmosphere. So he realized how the acoustic contribution, the acoustic definition of atmosphere is really central to this topic. But here I want to move to the notion of affect, because I think it can I believe it can help this reflection very much, especially by drawing from the work of Brian Massumi, who is an incredible researcher and philosopher who referred to the work of Spinoza and Deleuze, and he tried to deepen the notion of affect, trying to understand his political implications. So we can define through his words atmosphere as the capacity to affect and be affected by a situation, and here many scholars linked together in a really productive way the notion of atmosphere I tried to outline before, and the notion of affect as the capacity to influence bodies in a inter relation, one between one from the other. So, for example, Ben Anderson, a geographer who wrote a really interesting essay on affective atmosphere, wrote that they are class of experience that occur before and alongside the formation of subjectivity across human and non-human materialities and in between subject-object definition. As such, atmosphere are the shared ground from which subjective state and their attendant feelings and emotion emerge. So we can realize how affect, starting from Masumi and going on with all the other reflection on this topic. So affect is something that comes before the formation of a precise emotional state, and even before a precise cognition. So it's something that happen to our body, and is not really determined by a rationality. So this is why he is before the emotional the emerging of emotions, as Ben Anderson said. Again, position in the middle affective atmosphere, unsettled distinction between subject object that can be seen as part of the wider post-humanist connected to idealism and the construction of the ontology where the intellectual and the corporeal are equal expression of being. For the affective study of cities, the indication is a post-anthropocentric way of thinking about place as not only as fluid or in flux, but also as expressive or material agency. So somehow the understanding of affects linked to the understanding of the materiality and the agency of human, but also non-human and material beings and bodies. It's really central, and it's really a key point, especially because sounds can have an agency without I mean outside the intention, the human intention. So for example, here a body's power, its composition and capacity to affect and be affected is cultivated by and through active and relational engagement with other bodies. And of course, bodies are whatever, they are not just human bodies. Through these encounters, human experience is always a process of becoming, and there are always affective atmosphere coalescing and dissipating. So all these first two sections were important for me because I want to link in an efficient way and in a really productive way sound and affect, and this notion, this connection was explored by many by many scholars. I'm trying here to refer to some of them. For example, Gallagher, who wrote a really important essay about sounds and affect. And I'm reporting here his a couple of really interesting quotes. The first one, for example, this theorization of affect is useful in relation to sound because it draws attention to how sound propagates through bodies of many different kinds, both human and non-human. Sound has been theorized as a relational force that connects bodies, but thinking of sound as affect goes further to recognize that sound does not just connect things, it changes them. And here we can come back to the first experience I I told you about my weeks of pandemics in Venice, where of course sound was changing things in a really effective way. So here there is no sound that does not affect bodies of some kind. Equally, bodies also affect sound. Their material characteristic modulate its amplitude, frequency, spectrum, timing, and so on, which in turn alters its capacities to affect other bodies. So we can refer here as to sound as an affective state. Again, with Gandhi, his urban atmosphere account, how sound, how should we theorize the relationship between space and subjectivity? The complexity of urban soundscape exemplifies that the spatial porosity of atmosphere and the uncertain distinction between what constitutes inside and outside. Sound can engender a diversity of affective states, such as anxiety, excitement, or indifference. And acoustic spaces range from that of a room or street to concert halls, or even an entire metropolitan region if the listener or sound source is moving through space. And again, the affective of the intensity of affective atmosphere and their social spatial capacities move our focus from the bounded human subject towards more porous forms of urban sentience. We contend with the shifting constellation of affective subjectivities, moving between the single and the multiple, and from the human to other forms of life and materiality. In this moment, I want to stress again this deep connection between sound and affect, and these other essay I'm presenting here is an account of the relationship between landscape, affect, and geotechnologies in particular, again by the geographer Gallagher and Anna Kangiser, who are really working on this in a really interesting way. So affect is more than feeling or emotion. It is a better thought of as forces that impinge on bodies, which may or may not be felt. Sound as physical vibration is affective. It acts contagiously to modulate a dance floor, to repel bodies from alarms and sirens, or to innervate a wave of response during a vivid filmic scene. The affective aspect of sound comes precisely from the relations exchange of movements between bodies and environment. And again, working within and through spaces, sound creates affective atmosphere via vibrations, pitches, volumes, frequencies, harmonies, and disharmonies. These sounds can be conductive to particular psychosomatic states in listening bodies. For instance, in humans, low frequencies have a tendency to produce queasiness, while oceanic rhythms may have calming effects. And we come here to the contribution of Steve Goodman, who is well known as a musician, but also an incredible theoretician, an incredible scholar. His work on affectivity in sound is it's really important because it will help us also linking the sound as affect and the sound as affect to the politics of the sensible. So here, affective tonality, he's one of his main concept he's outlining in his sonic warfare essay, and he refers to affective tonality as a mood, ambiance, or atmosphere. For example, here, as sound designers know only too well, certain frequencies can produce an affective tonality of fear in which the body is left poised in anticipation, expectant of incoming events. Every pore listens for the future. Just think of the uneasy listening of atonal or discordant sound, of the sense of dread introduced by low frequency drones. And the contribution of Steve Goodman is deeply related to the one of Massumi, Spinoza, and Deleuze, as accounted before. And he remarks again that unlike an emotional state, affective tonality possesses, abducts, or envelops a subject rather than being possessed by one. This is, for me, a crucial point, because affects are not something we possess, something we own, but maybe the opposite. And that gives them an independence or an agency, which is not really often understood by researchers who study these topics. So affective tonality in its broader sense operates within a play of forces, and that every nexus of sonic experience is immersed in a wider field of power.
Sorry, Professor, 5 minutes left.
Yeah, sure. I'm moving now to the last section, where I'm trying to come to some sort of conclusions. Through Goodman, we say that this affective capability of sound somehow can be exploited, can be used also from a political point of view. And my question is how acoustic atmosphere is regulated and engineered. So, in other words, how the policing of the sensible orient the sonic environment. Here we can refer to the normal tools that are used in planning, for example, theory, to regulate the sounds of cities. I'm referring, for example, to noise zoning plan. But what is interesting to me is not that explicit sort of regulation and managing of sounds within the city, but it's more about the implicit use or the subtle use of sounds in urban policy making, especially. Some researchers refer to this concept as the soft policies of power, which tends to usually normalize and sanitize the public space, the sonic environment. They are eradicating sensory signs of disparities. They are somehow normalizing. They are anesthetizing the way we sense the city. And this, of course, is a way to control and to entertain. As we can see, especially from the work of many researchers and especially geographers who refer to the ambient qualities of space and to the expression of power that lies in the use in the strategic use of sounds within the urban environment. Nigel Thrift, for example, in a really precise way, affirmed how affect is more likely to be actively engineered, and engineered for what? He referred to this security entertainment complex that, following his words, has replaced the military-industrial complex as the main creator of an exaggerated humanity. So somehow this idea of security entertainment is exactly what I'm referring to as the instrumental use of sounds as affect within the everyday environment. And we can refer to this coming back to my first exploration of Venice. Sound was somehow all the elements all the points of reference that were missing in my sound walks were actually silenced by a norm, by all the norms that are actually changing our life day by day, also during these times. So this staging of atmosphere is central, because we can actually say that we can contribute in shaping the urban atmosphere by not explicitly but subtly use sounds, and that's something really critical to me, because as stated by these three researchers I was also mentioning before, staging atmosphere is in need of deeper academic elaboration, as it draws the attention to social and political manipulation of people's experience of their world beyond the realm of the individual. So this atmosphere as a space of political formation, it's really important, because it's actually happen beyond our understanding. So my point is, we can try to raise our sonic awareness also and especially in order to grasp this subtle use of sounds as an affective tonality within the urban atmosphere. So I want to conclude saying that of course critical listening can help us attuning to the affective tonalities of our environments. And by saying that, I'm also saying that attuning to an atmosphere means also trying to understand what is uncomfortable, what are the uncomfortable elements of our experience, sonic experience of everyday life, and these as a really deep political means. So my last contribution to this discussion is to point out how central to this to all this is the rise of sonic awareness. And yeah, I want to finish here and I want to thank you all. These are my contacts, so feel free to write me or contact me for any further informations or any curiosity. I'm really happy to share with you something more. Thank you again.